Hey everybody, and welcome to today's episode of State of the NFC East with the reckless one, Graham. Alright, now, since the Super Bowl, not too much has been going on in the NFL, period. Um, so this part of an eight-part series here I'm starting with the NFC East, and I'm gonna move on and do the rest of the divisions, and we're just gonna see what's been going on, see who's making some good decisions, see who's making some bad decisions, and go from there. Now, the NFC East. Hell, we're gonna start with the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, Philadelphia Eagles have not made entirely too many changes to their depth chart. Haven't released anybody. Haven't really signed anybody except for linebacker Brandon Hepburn. And he was just re-signed. He was re-signed last month, so it's hard to say what the strategy of the Philadelphia Eagles is at this point. They're probably just waiting to see the prospects that are coming out in the draft and grab somebody at a good position. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles have made quite a few adjustments in the front office. Um, Last month, they promoted Howie Roseman to Executive Vice President of Football Operations. Todd Light is now gone. He was hired to be the cornerback coach at Vanderbilt. Justin Peel became the tight end coach. Corey Unden, the defensive back coach. John Lovett and Ted Williams will work with the pro personnel department. Um, Bill Musgrave is gone. He was hired by Oakland to be their new offensive coordinator. Ryan Day is the new quarterback coach. Ed Marinowitz is the vice president of player personnel. And Stephen Thomas is now the defensive quality control coach. And the one that was there was Matthew Harper, and now he's the assistant defensive backs coach. And Michael Clay's been moved to assistant special teams coach. Now, according to the mock drafts that have been put up, I mean, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Nobody's really sure what they need to do. They had a pretty decent season last year. I'm surprised they didn't make it all the way. But the analysts are looking at it, and they seem to be split all through this. Nobody's quite sure exactly which player would best suit the Philadelphia Eagles. But the consensus is that they need a D-back. I agree. The Eagles had some problems with their secondary last year. Getting some D-backs in the draft can't hurt them. Now, the names that come up are P.J. Williams, Jalen Collins, Kevin Johnson, or Landon Collins. Now, out of the four of them, I think the best fit with the Philadelphia defense, in my opinion, would be Kevin Johnson. He's quick, he's tall, and I mean, he can keep up with some of the better receivers from the NFC East. And since they've got to play 6 games within the NFC East, that'd probably be the best thing for him to get. Now, if Johnson is still available, Eagles, if you're listening, you need to pick him up. Now, let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys, who have not done, in my opinion, jack in this offseason to fix the horribleness that they had last season. Yes, they made it to the playoffs. Yes, they made it by the skin of their teeth. Yes, I hate the freaking Cowboys. But I have to give credit where credit is due. They did make it to the playoffs. They beat some of the better teams in the NFL. They could have made it to the NFC Championship. They didn't. That's it. And they probably won't unless they get rid of Tony Romo. I'm just putting that out there. Every video you hear, if I bring up Tony Romo, I'll talk about how much I hate him. Hell, Dallas Cowboys fans hate him. Now let's get back on topic here. The Dallas Cowboys have only made 2 transactions in this offseason, and one of them was waiving a player. They waived Devontae Holloman, their middle linebacker, because he failed a physical. And the only person that they picked up was Devon Coleman, the D tackle. Now, these are just recent. These were as recent as 3 days ago. So the Cowboys have basically this entire offseason just been sitting on their butts so far. They need to get out there and find a new backup quarterback for starters. Okay? I haven't even looked yet to see who the analysts think that they should get. Oh, I'm looking now, and none of it is a quarterback. Everybody seems to be okay with their Tony Romo situation. Look, Tony Romo, decent quarterback. The Cowboys is not the team that he needs to be on. He needs to be on a team that is better suited for him. And the Cowboys are pushing the envelope right now, sitting there and not really getting to these contracts for Dez Bryant and DeMarco Murray. Now, they're going to get signed. They might not get as much money as they want. Of course, Uncle Jerry is going to try to do the best that they can. But, you know, he'd much rather lose them than lose Tony. I don't understand that whole relationship, but they'll fix it. Now, to business. According to the analysts, the Cowboys should be going for one of these four players. Eddie Goldman, the defensive tackle from Florida State. Michael Bennett, defensive tackle from Ohio State. Bud Dupree, the outside linebacker from Kentucky. Or Melvin Gordon, the running back from Wisconsin. Now, the only reason I could see the Cowboys picking up Gordon is if DeMarco is not going to be able to play. DeMarco has proved himself this year as an elite running back. They've got a backup there. They don't really need the other one unless DeMarco is not going to be there. Now, the linebacker, they should be all right without a new outside linebacker. Now, what they really need is one of these defensive tackles. So, if I were to pick one, and I'm going to be nice here because I'm trying to be impartial here, but Eddie Goldman from Florida State seems like the better pick to me. Eddie Goldman is a tough guy. He can play in a 4-3. He can play in a 3-4. He can play any gap that he needs to play, and he's going to be hitting some quarterbacks. I like that idea for him. Hopefully they get him here in the first round. Moving forward, let's go with the New York Giants. New York Giants have made, New York Giants have made the most transactions in the NFC East since the end of the season. Started out signing Victor Butler, then he's the linebacker, Chris Boswell, kicker, Ricky Stanzi, the quarterback, Emmett Cleary, offensive lineman, Trevin Wade, defensive back, David Wilson, the running back was waived, and Brett Jones, the offensive lineman, was signed. I see what the Giants are trying to do here. Giants are trying to build up that offensive line a little bit better, give Eli some protection, which he is in desperate need of, and they're giving him a backup. So, the Giants, in my opinion, are making some good decisions. They're focusing on the base of a football team. All right? If your quarterback is going to get hit because you got crappy offensive linemen, you're not going to have a good team. If your defensive line sucks, you're not going to have a good team. If your secondary sucks, you're not going to have a good team. The Giants are trying to put together an awesome team. They're not trying to put together a team of individuals. They're trying to put together an entire team. And I got to give them props for that. Not a huge fan of the Giants either. Just putting that one out there. Now, according to the analysts, the Giants should be going for they're putting them all over the place. They're giving the Giants Eric Flowers, the OT from Miami. Again with the Landon Collins, the safety from Alabama. Brandon Scherf, the guard from Iowa, or Danny Shelton, the nose tackle from Washington. Now, just as I said a second ago, the Giants need to focus on that O-line and giving Eli some protection. Now, Eric Flowers, to me, seems like the best one out of this bunch that the analysts think, because Flowers, they're good at guard, and they're pretty decent at center. Okay, so give him some tackles to protect him on the outside. Now, Flowers being a rookie, they're probably going to end up putting him at right tackle, but he can play left tackle as good as anybody else in the league as far as I'm concerned. All right, he should be a great asset for them, whether they put him at right tackle or left tackle. All right, let's move on to the team that is going to rule the NFC East next year, the Washington Redskins. Washington Redskins haven't made too many transactions either. Last month, they did a couple of signings, nobody too big. They signed two more wide receivers, Braylon Bell and Damon Cromartie-Smith. They got a new linebacker, James Gale, signed defensive tackle Kenneth Horsley, and defensive lineman LaKendrick Ross. Now, I see what the Redskins are doing too. I might not agree with some of the stuff that they do, but I see what they're doing, and they're doing exactly what they should this time. Um, I mean, even when they moved on, the next signing that they did, they signed linebackers Austin Spiller and Ricky Sapp, and then went to go try to get some protection for whether they're going to have RG3 starting or not. They went and got Tyler Larson and Ty Nsheki. Excuse me if I butchered his name, but they grabbed some more O-linemen for protection. Now, Redskins are doing the same thing the Redskins have always done when they had good coaching and good leadership in the office. They're going and grabbing core elements. They're going to strengthen the defense and give their future some protection, give their quarterback some protection. And I see them doing the exact same thing in the NFL draft. All right, let's see what the analysts have to say about it. Okay, the analysts are right there with me. Okay, the analysts think that the Redskins need to get either Shane Ray, the end from Missouri. Here's Brandon Sheriff again, the guard from Iowa. Landon Collins, the safety from Alabama. Or Leonard Williams, the defensive end from USC. Hands down, Leonard Williams all day, every day. Leonard Williams, along with the rest of that defensive line, would be unstoppable. I don't think that there's a guard or a tackle in this draft class that would be able to stop Leonard Williams. Yeah, sure, on tape, some of them have from time to time, but Leonard Williams is a pure beast. He is one of the best prospects at defensive end to come out in this draft besides Shane Ray. Well, guys, I've already went 12 minutes. I told my wife I'd only be doing 5 minutes on this one, but I get talking about the NFC East and it could go forever. Alright, like this video, subscribe. Another video coming soon.